Hey everyone! So I hope everyone's having a good day. I wanted to make this quick video today and I'm really excited about it because I'm going to be talking about something that really applies to everybody. So why do we need to have boundaries, okay? I think it's really easy for a lot of us to want to live from that mentality about, well, I'm just going to do whatever I want whenever I want to do it. I'm going to just live for myself, okay? And that sounds, kind of fun and great and cool at first, but if you've ever actually tried to live that way, it becomes pretty reckless and it kind of wears us down emotionally and psychologically because we're not really meant to function in that way. We're very complex beings, we live in a very complex world, and our lives just aren't going to really function at the optimal level if we're all just running around in anarchy and living for ourselves, okay? So that's really why we need to set boundaries. We need to set boundaries for ourselves so that we don't lose our sanity, so that we can be happy, healthy, productive people in the world. So really what a boundary is, it's something that you want to do, okay? It's not something that you set down to tell yourself, like, I can't do this anymore. It's just something that you're setting because you want to do it, okay? A boundary is there because you want it to be, not because it has to be. We all kind of, I think, have some boundaries laid down. We set standards for ourselves, okay? Our standards are very much like our boundaries. It's kind of like the boundaries are our ideal. Ideally, this is the parameters in which we want to live in. And it's different for every person. So when do you know when to set boundaries down? Really the answer to that is when you're ready to do it. Like I said, boundaries need to be something that you want to do, okay? Not something that has to be done. And unless you are ready to set those boundaries for yourself, there's no point in even trying to make them because you're not going to stick to them. And I think we've all done that. We all know what it's like when we set boundaries for ourselves and then we break them. It makes us feel like crap, okay? And all the green smoothies and all the raw fruits and vegetables in the world doesn't take that feeling away. And so it's really important that if you're gonna set boundaries, you set boundaries in which you feel you can really live within those boundaries. Set boundaries that are realistic, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Set boundaries that you actually think that you can abide by. And if you break your boundaries, don't dwell on it. The only person that you're really letting down in those instances are yourself, because those are the boundaries that you set for yourself. And it's so easy for us to just dwell on that and to feel horrible about it and to mope around. And we really need to kind of take ourselves out of that. When you break your boundaries, just get back on the horse and start riding again, okay? It's not the end of the world. My boundaries are to be 100% raw vegan. If I eat a cracker or, if I eat a piece of cheese, I'm not gonna beat myself up over it. It does make me feel guilty. I've been very, very, very close to being 100%. I'm very dedicated to this diet. I take it very seriously, but I'm still a human being. I was on a standard diet for 23 years of my life and I tried to change it overnight, so of course I expected that I'm gonna slip up here and there, and it does make me feel bad, it makes me feel guilty, but I just accept it and move on and say, okay, you know what, I'm going back, I'm gonna stay on this diet, because if I get depressed about it, if I get depressed that I eat something, then you're gonna stop caring. That's what happens when you break your boundaries. You get depressed, you start moping around, and then you stop caring about your boundaries. Like, you just kind of go all crazy again. And it's so silly, when you put it in terms of something as silly as a diet. Would I totally go back to a regular diet because I eat a piece of cheese? No, it wouldn't. That doesn't make any sense. And I think that a lot of us, we have those problems in our life where we screw up once and then we just have this domino effect of making bad decisions for ourselves. And when you do that, you take yourself out of your happy place. Why would you want to take yourself out of your happy place? You want to stay in your happy place the best that you can, and when you cross your lines, just cross back over again and try your best to stay there. We're all human, we're all imperfect. All we can do is do the best that we can. So what about limitations? Okay, a lot of people are probably wondering, what is the difference between boundaries and limitations? Boundaries are about what you want to do, and limitations are about what you're telling yourself you can't do, okay? And so I do not believe in setting limitations on ourselves. I think that is the worst thing that we can possibly do. And the reason that I want to talk about this today is because as people are finding out that I'm on a raw vegan diet, a lot of people are getting really interested in health, and a lot of people are like, wow, like I couldn't do what you're doing. I can't do that. I can't give up my meat. I can't do this. I couldn't stop eating cooked foods. I couldn't stop doing this. And before they're even attempting something like that, they're putting a limitation on themselves because they're saying that I can't do something. And that's just not true. I'd say 99% of the time when people say that they can't do something, it's because they don't want to do something, because they're not willing to do something, because they're not ready to do something. I hate when people talk to me about their nutrition and say like I could never, I can't, because you put a limitation on yourself. You put up a mental block in your head before you even try something, before you even attempt at it, okay? So don't set limitations on yourself. Stop saying that you can't do something. If you don't want to do something, if you're not ready to do something, then that's cool. But don't say I can't, because you put such a huge psychological wall up in front of you when you do something like that. I totally know where people are coming from when they say that, especially about this diet, because I used to be totally that person. I was researching raw veganism, and I was like, wow, like I want to do that so bad, but I can't stop, I can't give up this, I can't give up. And especially the first few days when I started this diet and I really started like, oh, I can't eat that. You know what? I stopped saying that. I can eat whatever I want, okay? I took away those limitations on myself. This diet is not about limitations. I don't limit myself at all. I eat whatever I want. I just want now to be eating healthy, great, nourishing food that energizes me and makes me feel good. That's what I want to do. So that's what I'm doing. The dangers with setting limitations when we should be setting boundaries is because we're not going to stick to them. We crave the things that we can't have. That's why people try to use that reverse psychology thing, when they're like, oh, I bet you can't, beat me in a race, and maybe you didn't even care about it before, but now someone's telling you can't, so now you're like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna beat you in a race, okay? And we do that in our own heads, okay? We use reverse psychology on ourselves without even knowing about it when we tell ourselves that we can't do something. Okay, so don't limit yourself. Stop telling yourself you can't do something. Just eliminate the word can't out of your vocabulary. It doesn't exist anymore. It's a useless word. Forget about it, okay? So the next thing that I want to talk about is communication. And a lot of you are probably wondering, how does this tie into boundaries and limitations? How does communication tie into all this? Communication is the most important thing that we as humans can do. We are communicating all the time. But I think the problem that a lot of us have is that we don't communicate the things that we really should be communicating about. When I started this diet, I started posting it on Facebook, and I kind of announced to the world hey, I'm doing this raw food vegan thing, and everybody knows about it, and everyone in my life knows about it. Complete strangers, see me drinking my green smoothies and start a conversation, and they know that I'm a raw vegan. People that know nothing else about me know that I'm on a raw vegan diet and I'm doing my best to stick at it 100%. And if I hadn't communicated that to everybody, do you think that I would still be on this diet? No way. It would not have happened, okay? Yes, I set the boundary because I wanted to do it. yes, I feel good. I see that this diet's working for me and it's beneficial. But if no one else around me knew that I was on this, I don't think I would have stuck to it. I have to be held accountable. I have a YouTube channel now. I have people asking me questions now, okay? People are depending on me for information and advice. People are depending on me to get results, you know? And I have to be held accountable for it. So yes, I do want to be doing this. If I didn't want to be doing it anymore, regardless of how many people knew, I wouldn't still be doing this. But the biggest motivation for me to stick on it was because everyone else around me knows about it. So do that, okay? If you want to start exercising every day, put it on Facebook. I love Facebook for that reason because, you know, I'll just be like, hey guys, look what I'm having for lunch, and post a photo of my fruits and veggies or my green smoothies or whatever the case may be, and people respond well to it. And when people are responding positively to me, I get more pumped up about what I'm doing. And you know, like, I've gotten so much like great stuff because I've told people that I'm on the path of health in my life. You know, a friend of mine gave me a free treadmill, and if I hadn't told that person that, you know, I'm like on this diet and I'm like losing weight and getting healthy, they wouldn't have even thought to tell me, hey, like, I got this treadmill, you can have it for free if you want it, you know? Another friend of mine found out, you know, she's having this free kind of like dance workout class at her church, so I've been going to that and it's been awesome. And you know, if I hadn't expressed to her that I'm doing this whole like health food thing or whatever, like, she probably wouldn't have thought to invite me to that because I wasn't like that before. When people thought about health and nutrition, I was not the first person that they thought of. And now, like, I'm becoming that person, you know? Someone else just today, you know, they found this really awesome article about like the benefits of eating fruit, and they posted it on Facebook and they tagged me, and they're like, you know, and that's great. Like, my life has become so abundant because I have expressed that to people, okay? And it goes so much farther beyond, you know, your diet and nutrition. It goes beyond it goes to anything, you know? I'm very open about the kind of person I am. I'm very open about my life, and I've always had people, you know, my whole life I've been that way. And one of the things that people have always told me is that they feel really comfortable around me. They're like, you know, I feel like I could tell you anything. I feel like I've known you my whole life. And the reason that people are like that to me, the reason that people feel comfortable opening up to me, is because I open up to them first. I tell people whatever, okay? And when people tell me stuff, like, I'm there. I get it. I put myself in their shoes. I open those doors of communication in my life, and good things happen to me as a result, okay? And so that's the biggest thing. Communicate to people what your boundaries are in your relationships, in your friendships, anywhere in your life where you have boundaries set. Communicate those boundaries to other people and be honest about your thoughts and feelings, okay? I cannot express it enough to people. If you don't like something that someone's doing, you gotta tell them that. If you really see, you know, if you see someone and you're like, dude, that person has an awesome pair of shoes on, tell that person that they have an awesome pair of shoes on, even if they're a stranger. I do this all day long. I'm a receptionist at my job. I give compliments to people all day long. I used to be so shy around people, and now I just say what I feel, and it's so much better that way, you know? I get it, like, it's nerve-wracking. You don't want people to think you're stupid or weird or whatever, but just be weird if you're weird, okay? If you're crazy, just be crazy. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. You will be so much happier. People respond to you so much better because you're being sincere. When you're being true to yourself, people sense that in you, okay? And they like it. They want to be around that. And you're going to be more confident in yourself, okay? Communicate to other people who you are. Communicate to other people what your thoughts and your feelings are, and don't hold back. Don't worry about what people are going to think about you. If people think, you know, like, oh, that girl's crazy, that girl's weird, or, you know, whatever, like, it doesn't matter about them, because you're gonna be happier. There's gonna be a lot more people in your life who respond positively to you than there are people who respond negatively to you. And the people that respond negatively to you, they're not happy with themselves. And I know that because I used to be that person, okay? I hated happy people. I hated happy people. I would be like, why are you happy? Why are you smiling? Because I was angry. I was angry at the world. I hated everybody. And now I'm happy with me, so I'm happy with everybody else. And now I'm just me. I'm just like, hey, I'm a weirdo, you know, like whatever. I don't care. And people have like, I thought like people would be scared away by me, okay? But I have made so many more friends. I've gotten so many more like amazing, like encouraging compliments from people, and I love it. It's so great when like a stranger comes up to me and they're like, I love your energy, like you're so happy and like you're always smiling, and like I connect with people that I hardly know on such a deep level, and it's so like amazing to have those connections with people. But you're not gonna have those connections with people if you're not communicating. If you don't communicate with people, you're gonna break your boundaries, okay? If you break your boundaries, you're gonna start setting limitations on yourself. You're gonna say, well, I couldn't live my life in those boundaries, so obviously I can't do that, so I'm just gonna stop trying, and you're gonna be miserable. You don't want to be that, okay? So that's all I have to say today, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to me, and if you have any questions about anything, I'm always here to help anybody who needs help. Keep your questions coming, you guys. I love it, and I hope this video was helpful. I hope that, you know, somebody takes something away from it, and I hope that this really can encourage you guys to stop saying you can't do stuff, okay? You can do whatever you want, okay? I love you guys so much. Thanks for watching my video. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Mwah.